Hi there. Well, I'm Dave Dickens. I'm one of the unofficial challengers in the 2020 Great Guitar Build-Off. I'm really excited about this project. I haven't got long. It's due in on the 17th of October. It's now at the end of August, so I better get going. Okay, before I start work, I want to give you a rundown on what I'm planning to do. I'm going to build one of my compact stroke travel guitars. This is the body template for that. I'm going to use this beautiful cherry as the back of the body, and I'm going to use this beautiful figured olive as a book matched top. Beautiful walnut, well, quilted walnut fretboard. This I cut from a board last year, so it's had plenty of time to settle. Now I'm thinking that this looks really nice. This grain is really nice, and I'm just thinking, can I get a nice book matched piece from this? All the music you hear is music I've produced on Cubase or Cubasis, and using the guitars that I've built, including the travel guitars. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay guys, well, just had a coffee break and I had a discussion with my senior graphic designer, aka Carolyn, my wife, who is a very good designer and knows her stuff. And we've agreed that the cherry is just going to clash with this beautiful olive top. So the cherry is going. The maple neck is going to look funny as well. The maple neck's going. Introducing the sapele back and neck. So we're going to make the neck and the back with sapele, which I think is going to go really well with this beautiful olive figurine. And the walnut fretboard. Well, that's the plan now. Better get on. Now I want the body to be 30 millimeters thick, and this is 32, so I'm going to have to thin that down. The olive top is going to be about 4 mil at the end, so I'm going to take a bit off there. Okay, so I've got a reasonably smooth edge on each side of that. Body blanks underneath there. Now I'm going to have to take this piece of wood off. That's not a problem though. Well, that's better. Now that should go in there like so. Oh, it's a bit tight. Actually, if I loosen that up a bit. Beauty with this is I've got, the wood isn't absolutely square there. It's because I've had to cut it at a slight angle. So this will clamp at that angle, which is really good. Okay, fingers crossed, let's put it to one side. So now to the neck, and the big question is this piece of sapele thick enough to give me the angle that I need for the headstock? I'm so close, so close. Can I get away with it? Can I get away with it? Come on, Dave. Gosh, it's looking good. I think we can get away with it. I'm going to cut a piece of this olive for the headstock. Now, let's see. I wanted to sort of blend in with this beautiful bit of walnut that I've got here. So this is going to be at the nut end. So we've got the quilts at the bottom end, and it sort of then goes out to these, I don't know, dips at the top there. Let's just draw a line on that and see what it looks like. Give myself a little bit more room. It's a smaller headstock than a conventional guitar, but then again it's supposed to be a compact guitar, so that's why. Ooh, yeah. I've cut the veneer, so I'm just going to run it through the thicknesser. So to do that, I'm going to use the masking tape and super glue trick just to fix that onto this piece of wood, because it's too thin to go through the fixer. Just to take the surface off. I'm going to leave this to one side now to allow it to stretch or shrink or whatever it's going to do along with these pieces. And now I'm going to go and cut the neck. This is what I glued yesterday. This is a veneer clamp that I'd made, but I've used it for the body blank, so let's hope it works okay. Pretty good, just need to get the paper off the back, but that looks good. Nice join, good. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now is set up the router and route the channel for the truss rod. Oh, look at that, that's pretty good. Basically what I'm doing, I'm lining the plate underneath here up with where the nut position should be, and then I'm putting the fretboard here where I want to cut the nut. Now I've marked the nut there. I'm going to just allow myself a little bit extra. That should be enough. Okay. Centre line is on the centre line. Well, it's just gone 5 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, so I'm going to call it a day today, because I don't think the neighbours will appreciate me bandsawing out the back of this neck. But I've made some progress. I've cut all the slots in the fretboard. I've fitted the truss rod in its groove there, and smoothed the top of the neck. Yesterday I glued together the back, the sapele for the back of the body, and that's looking really good. And also cut 2 book match tops from some olive that I've got for the body, and the book match top, the top for the headstock. So making some progress. Hello there, well welcome to day 3 of the Great Guitar Build Off 2020 unofficial challenge. I'm all ready to get going, so let's go and build a guitar. Well, judging by the burn marks and the stink of smoke around here, I think the bandsaw blade is probably knackered. I've had problems in the past with walnut in that it's quite brittle and sometimes it chips out, so I'm going to be really careful with this. Now I've got a sharp blade and set it really low. Okay, I've spent quite a time trying to get an edge between the fretboard and the neck. As usual, I've probably carved a bit too much off the neck, but I think I'm going to get away with it. Welcome to my entry of the Great Guitar Build Off 2020 unofficial challenge. Today I've got a cup of tea because I need to concentrate. Got all the components in there. What I need to put now is these trimmers. Okay, so that's all the components soldered onto the board. Plug these wires in, plug it in. That's the electric plugged in. So I'm just going to switch it to electric pickup, and yeah, I'm getting a very strong signal coming through that. Okay, so I've soldered up my two-stage preamp for this travel guitar, and I've run it through my rather primitive test harness, but both of the stages seem to be working okay. So the next stage will be obviously to put this in the guitar once we've built it and connect it all up to the pickups, and I'll be going through that process when we get to that stage. Hello there, and welcome to day 5 of the Great Guitar Build Off unofficial challenge, or my entry for it. I'm going to go with this side of the olive. I did try and turn it over, but that's a different colour there, and I didn't like that so much, so I'm going to go with the other side. Now then, when I butt them together, there is a little bit of a gap at each end, so what I need to do is put them in the vise and just plane that flush. You've got the bridge and all the pickups around this area, got the single coil there. I think it's going to look pretty good. Okay, I want to glue these together in the veneer clamp. Okay, that's reasonable. Just make sure I've got it all lined up correctly. That looks pretty good. Okay, I need to tighten these bolts up. Just wipe the excess off the top there. I'm just going to rub a bit of wax on this cardboard and then use this underneath the wood just so that the glue doesn't stick to this beam. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put this to one side now, let it dry, probably overnight. Mark the shape of the headstock on this piece of olive. So what I'm going to do now is cut it out very roughly so that I can see where it's positioned on the neck. Right, I have clamps, I have glue, I have clamping blocks. Da-da-da. Now, I am just using bog standard, no nonsense, waterproof glue from Screwfix. Whoops, as I've done for many years. And it seems to do the job. Okay. Okay, moment of truth. Now then, you can just see the line that I've got to work to. Because these slide all over the shop. I've read somewhere that you can use salt to stop the thing moving, but I haven't got salt, so what I'm going to do is clamp it with one of these. That's it. So I've got glue oozing out of all of those joints. Right, today I want to play a track from a band that I've been very close to for many years from Wales, a band called Colours of One, and this is a track called Echoes. Check them out on Spotify and iTunes. Brilliant band. Problem here in that this side is a little bit higher, so I'm going to put some strips of cardboard underneath this part of it just to make sure it is pressed down equally. Carefully, try not to knock that. The idea behind this jig, or fixture, whatever you want to call it, is that there's no movement, sort of lateral movement, it's just downward pressure. Okay, I'm just going to wipe the glue off this and set it to one side to set. And that should hold it in place, stop it rattling. Before I glue the fretboard on, I'm just going to have to cut the fretboard at the end here where the nut's going to go. So, cocktail stick in. Cleanup's really important if you're going to be putting binding on. I'm going to call it a day today, and we'll see what we get tomorrow. Hello there. Well, these have been left to cure overnight, so I'm clamping them now. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Okay. Well, that looks pretty good. Let's have a look at the neck. We have a neck. I'm going to use a Forstner bit to drill out some of this material. Okay, so I've set the depth stop at about 12mm. I don't want to go too deep with this Forstner bit. Okay, I've secured that in place. I wasn't quite happy with the first time I secured it, so I've done it again, and it's pretty solid now. I'm just going to check it with a neck that I've made earlier. This is a neck that's already been made. I'm just going to put that into the slot just to double check that the whole lot is lined up. And basically what I've done is I've drawn a line just here based on where the neck goes. I've drawn a line there and I've drawn a line there, and I've measured each side of that centre line and it's spot on. So I'm pretty happy that this is going to be okay. This looks pretty reasonable. It's gone to 13mm depth. I know I said I'd probably go to 14, but to be honest with you, I think I'm going to stick with 13 because I've got a nice clean area there. So whip this off. Now the next stage of routing out the neck pocket is the fiddly bit, because I actually use a dovetail router bit to put a slope on the back of the neck there, and also in there, just underneath, sloping down inside the body. The idea being it gives the neck more rigidity, given that I've only got one bolt securing the neck on. So the idea is that I've got a dovetail router bit which hasn't got a spindle on it, so I have to actually run the shaft of the router bit along that metal ridge really carefully. This is a really fiddly procedure, so I'm going to do it and then show you what I've done afterwards. It's quite difficult to see, but that's now sloping back into the body. I'm thinking while I've got the guitar clamped down, I'm going to mark the position of the pickups so I can get those cavities routed from the top. Part of the body shape. Now this is the part where there's a certain amount of artistic interpretation involved. I've obviously got to get a bolt in there, so I don't want to go too far down here, but that's the line there. I need to join that up with there, and so I'm going to just swing that round there. Now I've got the body rough sanded to the shape that I want, I'm going to concentrate on fitting the neck. We're getting there. We're getting there. Not quite there. Not quite there yet, but we're getting there. I really am very close with this neck, so I just need to shave a little bit off this plate here. So I'm just going to, and I really am talking sort of a fraction of a millimetre. Okay, I've taken all the pencil marks off. It's pretty close. I could shave a little bit more off the back of the neck, but I think I'm going to leave it for now, and then once I've shaped the neck I might have to just do a bit more tidying up. I'm going to get on shaping the neck. First thing I'm going to do is radius it, then I'm going to shape the back of the neck. Now, it's going to take a while and I think I need some music. As you can probably hear, it's going to get a bit noisy today because the builders outside are doing quite a bit of drilling with a pneumatic drill. But I've got my Sunburst travel guitar, which I finished a couple of weeks ago, and I've got an idea for a riff which I think will be great to go over the neck shaping portion of the video. So I'm going to record something. Got it plugged into the iPad, just need my headphones on. Let's get going. There's still a lot of shaping to do, but this is coming together and starting to look like a guitar. I've had enough of sanding today, so I'm going to have a break. See you tomorrow. Okay, off camera I've done some more shaping of the back of the neck using this Shinto file and a Surform. I'm not entirely happy with the neck yet. I want to do a bit more work on it, but I want to put the binding on before I do anything else. And before I put the binding on, I just need to cut the fret slots a bit deeper. I had a fight with the drill bit last night, which didn't help. I really pull that tape tight, so there's a sort of downward pressure and sideways pressure to pull it in. Here we go. I've routed out the top, now I need to route out the bottom, but I need some registration marks to make sure I route out the right bit. Now to do that I need to run some centre lines across these screw holes and round to the back of the body. So I'm just going to mark it very lightly with a pencil. Okay, so if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know my technique for routing. First, take out some material with a Forstner bit, stick the template on, and then route it out. I've routed out the cavity at the back of the pickups. Now I'm going to route out the rebate just to put the cover on, and I'm actually going to use some of this aluminium, which I'll probably spray black. And this aluminium is a millimetre thick, so I only need a rebate of about 1.5 mil. I'm pleased with the way that this has come out. So now I need to do the control cavity down there, and for that I need to take it out because I've got to work out where the thing is actually got to be positioned. And then the stereo socket should squeeze in just there. It's always very tight doing this. Okay, so that's the control cavity routed out, and the plate recess routed as well. It's really close between these two panels. I think I'm going to have to redesign this in the future. My idea to create PRS style recesses there to hide the bottom of the knobs didn't work, so I've just gone for a Forstner bit the same size as the knobs I'm using, so I should be able to put that in there, and that hides the nut. Okay, next job, let's have a look, see what this neck looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to have to trim down this binding on the top, and I'll do that probably with a plane to start off with, and then I'll just sand it. First of all, I'm just going to cut these ends off. The time has come to tackle the neck attachment. Now that's going to be via this single roofing bolt with this inset going into the neck. Now, according to my measurements, I have to go 45 mil back from the routing line there. So I'm going to mark that there. That, according to my calculations, is the position. Let's see what we've got. Right, okay, so I've got the hole. Now I need to put this insert in. Trying to get as flush as I can. There's a couple of reasons why I use these roofing bolts. Firstly, they're dead easy to get hold of. They're just 8mm roofing bolts. And secondly, you can do it up with a coin. So if you're on your travels and you haven't got a screwdriver, all you need is a coin. And there we have it. I'm not sure if you can see this very well, but at the moment the transition from the neck to the headstock is a bit, for want of better of a word, lumpy, and I prefer a smoother, perhaps more sort of organic transition between the neck and the headstock. So I don't want to go too thin, but I'm going to try and do a bit more shaping to sort of smooth that out a little bit. And of course, for this, what better thing to use than a bit of old wastewater pipe. Okay, I've got the neck shaped and sanded to 320, and that's looking reasonably good. Now for the body, I'm looking just to take, just to sort of chamfer it off a bit, probably just around there, just slightly soften it, perhaps just round the back a little, to there, and again here, bring that in a bit, round to there. Doing frets is one of those jobs where you need to be in a calm frame of mind, take your time, and then everything will go fine. You rush it, you'll have problems. So I think I need some dreamy background music to help me on my way here. Hope you enjoy. I've got 8 frets done, so I'm going to flip the neck round and do the rest of them. You may have noticed that the way my technique is to tap the fret in lightly with this hammer, and then to give it a good thump with this piece of wood, which has over the years bent to the shape of the fretboard. I found this is the best way of getting a good seating without marking the top of the fret. I'm going to be careful banging this one in because the wood is quite thin underneath it. In you go. I'm just going to take these ends down at an angle, and I'm going to basically rub it with this file until I start to rub on the wood. So you hear the sound change. I can feel that's going across much easier now. I think we're there with that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is shape the end of the fret just to get rid of the burrs that have appeared on there. Doing it really carefully just so I'm not going to damage the fretboard. Anyway, that's me finished doing the ends of the frets. Now I've got to get creative with some masking tape, and it's always a fun job trying to put tape in between these small gaps. But there you go, job that needs to be done. I've decided I'm going to put it in my neck clamp here, my neck jig, basically so that all the neck is supported underneath, because I think on these blocks it's going to dip down and I'm not going to get an accurate representation of what's actually happening. So let's try this now. So this is 320. Now I don't have a fret rubber, but what I do have is a bit of 1200 grit paper stuck to this bit of foam, which sort of brings it all up nicely. And my fretwork is far from perfect, but at the end of the day I do think I get a reasonable look. There may be some marks on the side of the fret, but I think that adds to the sparkly effect of the fretboard. I think I've done enough for now. I'm going to take this tape off and just see what we got. Okay, well, they need to have a final polish, but I'm pretty pleased with the way that's turning out. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to give the oil some neck. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some finishing oil on the back of the neck, leave that to dry overnight, and then see what we've got in the morning. Now then, I'll be honest, things didn't go exactly to plan yesterday, and there was something bothering me. So last night I made a decision, and that is that I'm going to change the finish on this guitar. I'm just not entirely happy with the oil finish, and now that I've got oily marks on it from doing this plate yesterday, it's sort of emphasised that point. This is the 9th guitar that I've built from scratch, and let's be honest, it's got to be the best. So I'm going to spray this with an epoxy gloss finish that I've got recently, because I think a nice high gloss looks really nice. The last travel guitar I built, the orange sunburst finish one, has really got a nice feel to it. So that's what I'm going to do. But before I do that, it'll involve sanding this right the way back. Before I do that, I'm going to fit the bridge, fit the pickups in the places that they need to go, so that I've cut all the slots, all the holes, etc. that I need before I sand it down and then spray it. There, and I'll need some artistic license to position those, but anyway, so that's got those in. Okay, so I've given the body a first coat of spray, and I also sprayed the neck. So while that's curing, I'm going to go and have some lunch. See you in a bit. I bet you've never seen this done before. to fit all the pickups and the bridge, and despite the fact the wiring diagram looks fairly simple when it's all drawn out, it got very complicated, and it was looking a bit like spaghetti by the end of the day yesterday. However, all the pickups are working when I tap them, so that's a good sign. So today I'm going to move on to fitting the nut on the neck and installing the machine heads, and see if we can put some strings on this thing. And as I suspected, my headstock slope was not enough, so I'm going to have to put some string restraints just about there. Well, it's been a bit of an adventure. I've still got the back plates to sort out. Hands of the epoxy now, so put this to one side and see what it looks like tomorrow. I need to make a truss rod cover, and rather than adding any more different types of wood on here, I'm going to actually use a bit of this olive, but I'll probably just oil it. So I'm just going to use a bit of cardboard to get the shape. I think that'll look quite nice actually. Okay, all right then, let's just cut that out of the olive. Yeah, I think that looks okay. I'm going to get some oil on it and drill some holes, but I think it'll be okay. Let's see what we've got. Some paper stuck on it, which I expected. Yeah, no, that looks okay. That looks good too. Well, we've just had an afternoon of torrential downpours, and I've just discovered that my workshop is still leaking. So I've got a container just over there catching the drips. Anyway, the good news is I've finished the guitar. So the two back plates are in place. These are the veneered aluminium, so they should give good shielding. And I've also made a truss rod cover out of the olive so that it blends in with the headstock and looks quite nice. I've done an initial setup with the height of the nut, and also just adjusted the bridge, so it's playing quite nicely. So the next thing is to give you guys a demo. Okay, so let me give you a little demo of this new guitar. Now then, I'm recording it on the camera mic, which I've got on a little stand by the side of me, and I'm using my Blackstar practice amp, this little beast down here. I don't know if you can see it, set with just a little bit of reverb on, but otherwise a clean sound. So let's go for the neck pickup to start off with, some nice chords. Okay, so now I'll switch to the two pickups. Here we go. And now I'll switch to the bridge pickup. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the neck pickup now. So this is without the preamp. This is with the preamp. So get a fuller sound with the preamp. Here we go. Two together. For the bridge pickup, here we go. Okay, so it gives you a flavour of that. Now let's put some bit of crunch on the amplifier. Got no reverb on this, and we'll go back to the neck pickup. Okay, and we'll go to the two together. Okay, now we go to the bridge pickup. Do a little bit of acoustic here. So that's the sort of tone we get. If we turn it back off again and do some strumming now, it's quite good for giving a bit of a percussive sound. I'll turn the preamp on. Now, obviously, this is much better when you record it straight into an iPad or straight into a DAW, and I will do that just before the end of this demo. But here it is again with the preamp on. You get the squeaks, which is what I like with the acoustic sound. So I hope that's given you a flavour of some of the tones. I'm going to put a little demo piece together to end this video. Well, thank you very much for watching yet another video. I just want to say that I've thoroughly enjoyed making this little guitar and making this series of videos, and I want to thank Ben Crow and all the guys at Crimson and the professional guitar builders for putting together this marvellous competition, which has been a fantastic opportunity for myself and guitar builders all around the world to build guitars together and to share tricks and tips. I tell you what, there's a lot of great information out there, and there's a lot of great builders out there. Now then, it's all for charity, so when the competition is finished on the 17th of October, this guitar will be put on eBay, and any monies we make from it, less the eBay charges and the PayPal charges, will be sent off to Crimson to put towards one of their supported charities. So please watch out for my YouTube video describing what's going on there. I'm going to be making lots more of these guitars. I've got some bodies ready, and I'm going to be making some more videos about this, so please stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some more adventures with guitars. In the meantime, please hit subscribe if you like this sort of content. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Has anybody seen my... Oh, cheers.